Vinland Saga. You know it, you love it. It's an amazing anime that I think I don't hear enough people talk about. I certainly got into it recently. I sat down to watch it, the first episode, because I heard it was pretty good. And then I spent literally an entire day watching the first season. I heard the second season changes things up a bit. But you know what? I'm excited for it regardless. But anyway, I'm not here today to talk about specifically Vinland Saga. If you guys have been watching my videos, which is nobody, and that's totally fine, but I released two videos kind of earlier on in my channel, basically talking about anime video games. One being my kind of dream My Hero Academia game, and another one being what the Jump Force game should have been. What I would have done with that game to make it not, suck. So basically, anime and video games are two things that I obviously love very dearly, and two things that I think could be, a lot better and have really gotten a lot better in recent history. So basically, I just wanted to start this kind of little series of talking about games in anime, kind of game anime hybrids that I think would work really well. And first, because it's fresh on my mind, I think Vinland Saga in the style of like one of the newer Assassin's Creed games. I put down Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but obviously Valhalla would make a little more sense given the Viking theme. But the reason I put Odyssey was because of its bigger, wider world and way more of an emphasis on the seas and the and traveling in your ship and everything. I think like being a Viking, whether you play as Thorfinn or your own custom character, which I'm a sucker for customization in games, especially anime games. I love creating my own characters and inserting myself into the world and talking to and growing relationships with these characters that I know from the show and from the manga. But something along those lines of like you play as a Viking, you have maybe start out in a small dinghy, a small ship, and you travel the world going to, England, Norway, Iceland, whatever, looting, building up your crew, building up your ship, and you have similar mechanics as in Assassin's Creed, where you build up your ship and everything, and probably making it a little bit deeper. Something in the vein of, honestly, the Mad Max game as well. I don't know if any of y'all have played the Mad Max game, severely underrated, but a very big focus of that game is building up your car and slowly but surely putting in new armor, upgrading the wheels, upgrading its weaponry. And you feel a very tangible increase, not only in the visuals of the car, because your car goes from this hunk of rusty metal to like this beast with spikes and everything by the end of the game, but you also feel it in the gameplay because now you can take on more enemy cars, or in the case of a Vinland Saga game, more enemy ships. Using the ship. I don't know if they'd be able to use the ship combat from Assassin's Creed because I don't know if they're able to just steal that or not, but using some sort of ship combat, some land combat, boarding, raiding towns, and eventually growing your character and your crew so you not only are better combat wise, like, sword to sword, hand to hand, but you're also better on in your ship, and then you could build relationships with your crew. Throwing even more games in here, make it XCOM style, not in the sense of like gameplay, but in the sense of like when you grow with these characters, you like and maybe even a permadeath mechanic, because we all know at the very least the first season of Vinland Saga can be very brutal and a lot of people die. So maybe it's a permadeath thing. Like when somebody dies, like you actually feel it. But if they're able to stay with you and like, keep fighting and level up alongside with you, that's going to become a soldier and a companion that you really rely on. Which I think transfers over well to Vikings and Viking mythology because they have like shield brothers and everything like that. And you find that companion that you're really going to like. So I know a few of my thoughts are going kind of crazy here, but I think all of those elements can make a really fun Vinland Saga game. Just recapping, ship combat, traversal, and a building up of things like Assassin's Creed and also things like Mad Max when it comes to the car customization and upgrades. Things like relationship things, and something in the vein of even Fire Emblem too. The more you fight with your companions, the bigger you like grow and work together. I'm just gonna let this other video auto play here, because I'm still talking. But anyway, yeah. So the more you like grow together, the more you fight together, and it's going to lead to more success on the battlefield. And I just think that could legitimately make a really fun game. Building up your ship, building up your crew, and then eventually getting to a point where you're not only raiding villages, but then you can raid towns, just like in the anime. They go from raiding small villages to then I forget what episode it was, but they raid that big town, they help out that army, and then you could maybe even, there's some choice mechanics in there, Renegon Paragate-esque stuff of like, do you want to honor your deal and give the guys that you fought for a cut of their loot, or and potentially get bonuses there, like having good favor and will with those armies? Or do you want to say, no, this is all mine, so you get more treasure, but then more people might come after you, more people might not want to mess with you or your crew. So I just think there's a lot of, I hope I explained myself well. I probably didn't, because I only wrote down a few notes, and I kind of am just going off of some memory and just kind of talking out of my ass here. But as much as this video I think could be fun to talk about, I also just wanted to use it as kind of a jumping off point for this sort of video game anime crossover series, because I have a lot more here, that I think could be really fun. But for now, we're just going to stick with the hypothetical Vinland Saga, Assassin's Creed-esque crossover game with a lot of other elements. Let me know what you guys think. I just think that anime games are fun, and they've been making a pretty big resurgence. Some of the more recent-ish ones have actually been pretty good. I haven't played One Piece Odyssey, but I've heard that it's pretty solid. I really love the Attack on Titan 2 game, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the anime. The Fairy Tail game that released a few years ago was honestly pretty good. I know Fairy Tail isn't super popular, and it's one that a lot of people like to make fun of. I totally understand that. But I do feel like the game itself is pretty good. So, there's a resurgence, and obviously we got some new Naruto games around the corner and stuff like that. So, I'm interested to see what other animes that you guys would like to see partnered with certain games, or just what other animes you think deserve games, period. They don't have to necessarily be something built off of something else. It just is like, hey, I would love to see blah 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 get a game. So that's kind of what this little mini series is going to be. I don't really, I'm going to make these videos whenever I get around to them, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was rambly, as most of my videos are, but I hope you guys took something away from this, thinking like, yeah, that could be a cool game. Feel free to let me know in the comments how I can not only improve these videos, but also if you have any ideas on your own, tweaks that you could see in my hypothetical Vinland Saga game, or if you have, anime game crossover ideas that you think would be cool. I'd be happy to talk about them, or, talk with you in the comments about it too. So, thank you for watching, and have a great one. Thanks.